What was your favorite project that we worked on for you this year?
Well, since I have a Great Dane and another German Shepherd dog,
Yeah.
the trips to NPIC in Plano.
So what did you
Um,
do? You just drove by and knocked on the door or what?
yeah, so no, that was part of our EPA pollution prevention grant, and I
Yeah.
was able to go in there and meet with Josh Liu, who was the vice president of the operations there,
Okay,
and
yeah.
he was very let's just say when I told him we had some opportunities to do lean manufacturing, help him with his energy and also environmental, he was like, when can we get started? So he
Yep.
connected me with Ricardo, and you
Yes, I
met
remember
Ricardo
Ricardo.
later, right, Ricardo?
Yep.
And I think it started out with the realization that I think they had 17 of their injection molding machines where they inserted all the different protein, and actually most of their dog bones were vegan. They were
Hmm.
vegetable based dog treats, but they inject the material into that injection molding machine, and
Yep.
then out on the other end they'd spit out the molded dog bone treats that range from 3 or 4 inches to those gigantic ones that look
Yeah,
like
some of those were
giant
huge.
like molecules of dog bones. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that's when I think you started with finding out the we were questioning whether they should add additional insulation blankets on top of their heaters to save energy, and we thought, hey,
Yep.
we ought to get in there and measure the consumption, and that's where you came in, right, and did some work there.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have data to help our clients make these, evidence-based decisions, right? To make sure there's a business case for making a change. And what was wild is that we found that a lot of those heaters in the system weren't even on because there was as that material is passing through the machine, there's so much friction generated just in the shearing process of pushing that material through the mold, but there really wasn't a business case to add insulation to that machine.
Yeah. So what we did after we struck out on that injection molding, it just wasn't a big
Yeah.
impact. We looked at the next step, was that's where they loaded all the dog bones into these big carts, and
Yep.
then they rolled them down the hallway, and they had these giant heated rooms that were
Yeah,
probably
huge.
60
That's
60
right.
feet, maybe, right, 100 feet by 100.
Yep.
They were gigantic,
Yep.
and
One
they were
after
heated.
another after another.
Yeah, all of them were
It's a big
natural
operation out there.
gas. Yeah. A lot of them were, I think most of them were natural gas, and they had one that was electric. So we
Mm.
we looked in there, and I think we talked to Ricardo, and that we asked him, like, well, how long does it take to dry dog bone? He's like, oh, 24 hours. And I was like, well, why is it 24 hours? He's like, well,
Yeah.
that's what they told us. It's 24 hours. And I
Yeah.
said, well, Ricardo, what if it's 17 hours? Would you know? And he's like, no, it's 24 hours. It's based upon the humidity in the bone. I said, well,
Yeah.
why don't we get a sensor in here and
Yeah.
find out when the humidity actually drops in the room?
Yeah.
And then that's when you showed me the sensor, right?
Yeah.
The push
And that
sensor.
was actually that was a little bit technically an easier deployment for us because the system that we deployed on the injection molding machine has much more capability. It's much more industrial.
Right.
But the
Yeah.
system that we deployed to monitor humidity and temperature from my side was easier. It had a gateway and a couple sensors. And we had the graphs there that people could see. But that was really
Right.
great to deploy a sensor and let people get a lot of time series data,
Yeah.
that they can look at and then say, oh, well, maybe it shouldn't be 24 hours, even though that's worked and that's good tribal knowledge. But if they can squeeze, you know, 24 hours down to 10 hours or less, that's a lot more productivity they can get out of their existing
Right.
equipment.
I I remember you gave me the module and you asked me to install it, and I went over
Hmm.
there, and I think the first thing I had to do was just upload the app onto my phone,
Yep.
and then I walked into the room and stuck it up on the wall with some
Yep.
double-sided tape, and then it connected immediately. It fired, and I saw the
Yep.
signal on my phone, and I could see the temperature graph real time and the humidity graph real time. And then I just shared that link to Ricardo while he was there. And I'm going to say that was a half an hour. It took a half an hour from the time I walked in the door till Ricardo had this graph on his phone. And then that's when he started monitoring that. In the past, they've had, batches of bones that come out where when they check the quality of them, they're either too dry or not dry enough. So it's because they weren't really monitoring that drying process very well. Right. So that was kind of, for them, it was
on them. I mean, they're trying, but they've got a million things to do. So tracking the temperature, humidity every minute, why not let a sensor do that automatically?
Yeah. So Ricardo's a pretty smart guy. We talked about how to reduce the drying time, and he realized that the ovens were taking a long time to do this, but there was some technology out there. It was a steam generator that you do before you inject the material into the injection molding machines that kind of adds steam to the mixture. So instead of it being just this dry paste, it's a steamy dry paste or steamy paste, and then it goes to the injection molder. So when it gets done, the bones already are drier, and then they were able to, on key products that they've got, he said that the 17 to 24 hour drying time, he's already got batches now he's doing in under 2 hours.
That's
so
huge.
The plans, absolutely. Because if you looked at their total cycle time from making a batch and injecting it and drying it, the drying time was the big mass window of time. And with this new technology added, he was saying that their capacity for their ability to make more bones every day is going to be significantly higher. And as sales increase, they're not going to have to add any more equipment. And in fact, their drying room space, obviously, things are going to get in and out of there faster. They won't need I think they have 7 big rooms. They're going to be able to turn that product faster. So they were, I think when Josh got with us at the TMAC award celebration where we honored him for their efforts, I think he shared that this technology advancement is going to impact them in the millions of dollars of impact. Yeah,
that's great.
So we were excited about that. So, and plus now every time I visit, I always get nice dog treats from my Great Dane. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, everybody wins.